I live in a neighborhood, we've been there a long time, 30-some years, and when it comes snow, we always get together, and I have a snow blower and blow driveways. January 23rd, we had a big snow, and I went out, started doing driveways, my neighbors in front, my own, and I went down to another buddy of mine that actually had had a heart attack earlier. So I go down to help him because he shouldn't be out shoveling snow. So anyway, I get down there and then I do a driveway beside of his, and I'd probably been a couple hours. And then I started to do Alan's driveway, and the last thing I remember was when I woke up in Roanoke Memorial Hospital.
I was getting ready to go out, and the neighbor came to the door and she said, "Something's happened to Roger." And so I grabbed my coat and I ran down, and by the time I got there, the ambulance was there. He was already in the ambulance. Within a few minutes, they transported him to Pulaski, and so the neighbors was like, we'll take you. And I said, I don't care who takes me, just somebody get me there. The snow was so deep in the transportation that they could not get him to Montgomery for hours. And finally we got him to Montgomery, and then when he got there, he actually they said he died when they tried to transport him from the gurney to the table, and they did the catheterization. And then we had the same problem. The snow, the wind was getting up, the blowing, they're trying to get him from Montgomery to Roanoke, and they could not fly him because of the weather. So then they got the flight crew on the ambulance, and that's when they put him the heart pump and the freezing system where they cooled his body down, and the flight crew took him from Montgomery to Roanoke Memorial. When we got to Roanoke Memorial, Dr. Baker came out and talked to us after he had seen him, and he told us that his heart had actually made their own bypasses, and so that he was, with the catheterization, that he was going to wait until probably later in the week to do the surgery, but that we really had to figure out what his mind was doing.
After Roger had been moved to Roanoke and had been there for a few days, I'm like most people, if you have friends or family that are sick, you want to make sure they're getting the best care that they possibly can. And so I called a friend of mine who I've grown up with, who's a doctor, and shared with him that Roger was in Roanoke. He'd had a heart attack, and took a lot of comfort in that. He simply said this: you can drive further, but you can't get any better help than Roanoke Memorial Hospital. He's right where he needs to be. Dr.
Baker talked to us daily, let us know what was going on. Either him or some of his assistants came out and talked to us daily and until we had the surgery. And then once he had the surgery, when they tried to get him off the vent and they finally got him off, he looked up to me and he said, "Can we go now?" And that was his first words I heard out of him.
After he was operated on, I thought, if he'll just say my name, I know he knows me. So after he woke up some, he wasn't talking very well. I got in front of him and I said, "Roger, do you know who this is?" And he finally said, "Mom." So that put a big relief on me.
It seemed like I'd just been asleep for an hour or two, and I guess it'd been over a week. And so I come to and I asked Carol what's going on, and she said, "Well, I got a lot to tell you." And I said, "You'd had a heart attack." I said, "Whoa." And then I figured out my chest was a little bit sore and all this, you know, and the nurses kept coming in and, "How's my miracle man today?" So I asked Carol, I said, what do they keep calling me Miracle Man? I said, "What's the deal?" She said, "It's going to take a while to explain all this to you," you know. So anyway, the nurses, they they came by regular, I mean all the time, and see if I needed anything or whatever, and you feeling okay, and of course they were doing their job, you know, and but everybody was so nice. I mean, I just remember everybody being nice and just treating you like royalty.
It was a big day when we finally got to move into the step-down unit. And of course he was ready to leave. He wanted to leave and go home, but I knew there was no way I could take care of him at home. He was so weak and needed so much assistance. Did talk him into going into the rehab, and that was the best thing for him because there was no way I could have handled him at home because of the weakness.
I love riding a motorcycle. That's one of my favorite hobbies, and I was hoping to get to ride soon, you know, and I went back to see Dr. Baker for a checkup, and he said, well, you know, you need to wait a little while, you know, and so I did. And the rehab has really been great. I'm doing about anything I want to do now. I mow my grass, I do that, ride the motorcycle every chance I get. I'm pretty much back to normal. The only difference is now I probably feel a little bit better. I quit smoking. I smoked for about 43 years.
Throughout this whole journey, there is the care that he received has been amazing, and I have no complaints whatsoever of any of the care that he has received, and everyone was so thoughtful and was there for me and for him, and it was amazing of the people that we met and how many went through, and every one of them was just right there for us.
All in all, I guess the experience of what I went through and what they tell me I went through couldn't have been better at a hospital. You know, it was excellent.